Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you, and the Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas joining us. How you doing, Thurm?
I'm doing great, man.
Congratulations. We saw your lovely wife putting stuff out on Instagram. You guys are expecting twin grandbabies? Is this true?
Yes, this is very true. Very true.
You guys are taking after the Taskers now. What the heck's going on over
we're
there?
getting ready to have 4 by next May. I mean, he's already at 7.
Well, that's why I said you're not far behind.
Yeah, 2 or 3 kids
We
that
got 3 kids haven't started yet.
haven't even started yet.
Yeah,
so,
we're going to lap you, bro. But congratulations.
That's great, though. That's great.
awesome.
Thanks. I
That is
appreciate
awesome.
it. Yeah, Angel and Matt, they're going to be great parents. Great parents.
We've had some calls in the first hour, so I want to dovetail off of what they've been talking about with respect to Buffalo's personnel usage and some of the stuff we saw up front on the O-line this past week against Kansas City, Thurm. 21 personnel with Reggie Gilliam.
Yep.
It's clear that Ken Dorsey likes that personnel grouping because he's used it almost every single week.
Yep.
And they signed Reggie to a contract extension right before the year, 3-year extension. He's part of the plan going forward here. So just first, your early thoughts on their usage of 21 personnel and some of the things they're able to do with that might be not your mom and dad's 21 personnel.
Right.
It's a little more advanced now with as athletic as Reggie is, right?
Right, exactly. And he takes it even farther. But if you look at around the league over the last, 15, 20 years, nobody pays attention to the fullback. Nobody, I mean, Reggie Gilliam can probably have as many touchdowns as Butch Rowe had. Catching 10 passes down on the goal line, 10 touchdowns. They never covered a fullback in the flat. They haven't covered him for 35 years since I've been watching football. He's always open all the time. But him being athletic as he is, he's a threat on the field.
And he can block.
He can
block.
We've
seen that.
Yeah, he can block.
All right, here's the question, though, and I brought this up just a minute ago. Somebody's got to come off the field.
Well, it's usually a receiver.
Who do you take off the field? I mean,
you're going to have Diggs and Gabe out there, right?
Yeah.
And Knox. That's it. I mean,
You're good.
I think you're still good.
Right.
You still have weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, you take Gilliam off the field and put a wide receiver. I mean, it's just I'm looking at this offense and I'm just really liking how everybody's involved. Obviously, you're going to have games where Diggs is going to have 9, 10, 11 catches or whatever.
Right.
But, I mean, on
Like this
top
last
side of that, you're going to have Gabe Davis catching 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Now,
So I give my hat off to this Ken Dorsey and his offensive group. They've done a great job the first 6 games of just mixing everything. Now you just can't look at the 11 person. You got to look at it all now.
Yeah.
You got to look at it all.
More to prepare for.
More to prepare for. And I think that's what kind of like Ken Dorsey, he's put his stamp on that. I mean, Reggie Gilliam, at this point, has probably played more this year than he did all last year.
I would say yes.
Right?
If I had to guess,
If I had to guess,
that may
yes.
be.
So he sees something in that, and I love it that he's mixing it up.
how do you think, and if you think in the future and what teams are looking at, they're saying, okay, we got to practice against all this. How does that manifest itself on the field down the road when all these teams are preparing for all this, and then you get them with what you're really going to do? How does that? I mean, what's that look like? And what gains can we, just as observers, get? Because I know Ken Dorsey's up there trying to figure out how he's going to get an edge down the road as well.
Right.
So he's got, Gilliam coming on the field. He's playing him a certain percentage. These guys a certain percentage. Why? What do they expect to get out of those analytics?
I think if you have him on the football field, obviously you're going to have more film to watch him. But you know what? It's a long season. Coming off the bye week, I don't know what we might see. We might not even see Reggie Gilliam anymore. I don't know.
Right.
But that's the element of surprise. Like, okay, you maybe not see him for a couple of games, and boom, there he is. It can be very in a very important game down the stretch, and teams will probably look at that and be like, "Oh, they've been doing this so much," and they focus in on what they're doing, and all of a sudden Gilliam comes out there, and they be like, "Oh, what was this? Where did this come from? We haven't seen this in the last 4 or 5 games."
Are we treating this guy as a running back or a tight end?
Or a
Are
tight
we treating
end.
him like a
Yeah, so, I mean, it's I love what he's doing once again, and, continue to do whatever. He's done everything right.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you learned about this team through the first 6 games? This version of this Bills team, what stands out to you through the first 6 weeks that you said, you know what, I really didn't I really hadn't had them pegged to be this.
I really didn't, especially with like all the injuries that they've had. I'm not even giving it to the players. It's the scouting department and Brandon Beane and what he has done to bring all these guys in. And I think I maybe said that last week or 2 weeks ago. Those guys have been very instrumental of what they're doing right now. As much as I want Micah Hyde to be out there, obviously with the neck injury, he's not been able to perform. You know what? I wouldn't say we're better, but we're right on the cusp of that. But
So it's,
he
it's
played.
the depth of the team
It's the
that's
depth
impressive.
of the team, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about this. If you're the Bills right now and Von Miller, let's say you don't want him to get hurt, but somebody's going to step up. They have stepped up. And now to come in this week with the bye week, everybody's getting healthy. Oh, my God, we're going to have Trey White back.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, but I'll say this.
It makes this team so much stronger. And now that these guys are getting healthier, I mean, Jordan Phillips is probably loving, like, okay, I get a week to rest this hamstring right now.
Yeah, and I get that too, but there's no guarantees that we don't have another 2 weeks like we did between, Miami and Tennessee, where you got 19 guys, 7 guys going down again.
That's an extreme case.
But you
though,
never
isn't
know.
it?
Right, it is. But it happens.
Twice in a season? Probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've seen other teams have it.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, you can't predict the future.
Yeah.
But even so, you're right. I mean, you feel like, oh, okay, just go back, plug the guy back in, let's go. What about the way this season rolls now? It's kind of, we were having this conversation. It looked like the first 7 games of the season through week 8, because we got to bye this week,
Right.
through the Green Bay game.
Looked like a bear.
We were looking like, okay, just come out here 4-3.
I know.
Right?
I think we
just
were.
come out
yeah.
4-3. 5-2 would be awesome.
Right. Yes.
Well, here they sit
Yes.
at 6-1, and now you're looking. It's like, well, the rest of the schedule isn't really a gimme.
The Jets aren't a gimme. They got a top 10 defense.
Right. The Jets
Yeah.
look now. The Jets
They got
look
a top
good.
10 defense there.
Right. So the point is, we thought the last 10 games or 11 games of the season were going to be, we're all right. We're going to go 10-0, just finish it up. But the Jets look different. The Browns are still talented. The Patriots, they're gonna cheat and steal one from us somehow, some way. All of that. So, and we got the Bengals late.
On Monday night on the road.
So
So we got 11 games left.
yes, the Vikings look
think
like
we-
a
I
like a
think we
really
win
rough
9.
game.
9.
Out of the 10 after the
9
Green
out of
Bay.
11. Yeah.
9 out of the 11.
Yeah. There you go. Right
Okay.
Do you think we'll go 7-1 with the Packers this next 2 weeks?
there. Oh yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go.
Six
The,
and-
the
maybe
Packers are a
6
mess.
So we're gonna go
The
15
Packers
and
are a
2.
mess.
So we're going 15 and 2,
14-3.
14 and 3.
Yeah, because you got one loss on the
Yeah.
record already. And Thurman just said 9 and 2 down the
okay.
stretch.
All right.
14-3, number 1 seed by a couple of games.
All right.
There you go.
All right, I'll sign up for that.
And
Do you have
I'll allow it.
And the Bills get their 3rd MVP guy of the season, Josh Allen.
Right. Okay.
There you go. I got it all mapped out.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Thinking about this for a while.
Thanks for stopping by and letting us know.
Got Miss Cleo over here.
Because you know what? I mean, this is a really, really good football team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't make a lot of mistakes. Yeah.
They overcome some
Turnover,
things, too.
Yeah, they've overcome
Yeah.
some every single game
I'm not
that
talking
they
about
play.
injuries. I'm talking about like bad penalties.
Yes.
They
Oh,
have
God.
turned the ball over.
Turn the ball over some.
They're up near the top of the league in turnovers.
Yeah.
They got to clean that up.
They got to clean that out, but hey, I'm taking my chances with this team.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
tell you that right now. Yeah, because they can score 30.
Have you watched any of the Eagles, Thurm? I really haven't watched a whole lot, but they're like plus 12 in the turnover margin. They're running the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
They're throwing the heck out of the ball. Well, maybe not throwing the
Not
heck
maybe.
out of the ball.
See, that's where you separate the difference right there.
He's
Josh
got 6 passing touchdowns,
I know.
Jalen
See,
Hurts.
somebody was saying that to me the other day. He got 6 passing touchdowns. Now, you're going to have to get at least 4 or 5 when you play us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is, and hey,
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of them yet to know exactly what they are, but they're the number
Well,
3.
you know what? I
the
haven't-
number 3 offense in football, the number 4 defense in football, 4th in scoring, 6th in points allowed.
I haven't seen a lot of anything in the National Football League because I pretty much basically watch the Bills
Yeah,
and pretty
right.
much that'll be it. And the
Yep.
rest will be highlights.
Thurman's got Bills myopia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'll say
I don't.
this: the strength, and even the Bills at 5-1, the strength of victory wins
up
were
there.
5.7.
Yeah, it's up there.
The teams they've beaten have a winning record.
Right.
Philly, it's less than 500. It's 4.457. So
They're also in the NFC East.
they're
so.
in the NFC East, but I'll say
Dallas is a
NFC
good
East,
team. Giants
the
pretty
Giants
good.
are 5-1.
Washington's
and Dallas
the
is good.
dog
They
there.
got 3 teams in the NFC East.
Yeah.
3 of those teams are in the playoff hunt right now. They're in the playoffs, if it's you know what I mean. So they're at the top
Yeah.
of the NFC, all 3 of them. So it's been a tough. All of a sudden, it's a tough division to win, which it wasn't for a long time. I don't know how good the Giants really are, but they're not beating themselves.
They are not.
No.
They are not.
And it's with the NFC right here. It's probably going to stay right there. When you get down here to like 8 and 9, Green Bay and
Yeah.
Atlanta, kind of everybody kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you name one of those teams that you think is going to jump up there and
right.
get something.
Yeah, no, I don't
Seattle.
look at any of those
See, I
teams.
get it. Seattle 3-3, Atlanta 3-3,
Three.
Green Bay 3-3. All right,
That's what
okay. Green Bay maybe because they got Aaron, and maybe they'll figure something out and find somebody who they can start winning some games with. And they are still in a division with Chicago and Detroit. Forget about Minnesota. Chicago and Detroit are horrible.
Minnesota
Minnesota
is an enigma.
Yeah.
As I looked a little closer at their game last week against the Dolphins, which they won,
Yeah.
got a defensive touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
They win 24-16.
Yeah.
They punted 10 times in that game.
Well, they don't turn it over, obviously.
I mean, yeah, but that's a lot of punts.
10
Steve.
times.
A lot of punts.
I got to look it up again and make sure I have
Hunter
that
got
right.
dehydrated.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
this is a team who runs the ball too with Delvin
Yes,
Cook.
they are throwing a little more with their new head coach. So there's that. But yeah, let me make sure I want to make sure I have this right. But I thought that's what I saw. Punting. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh no, he did 10 punts.
10 punts.
10 punts. So Steve, they win the
that's Kirk
game
Cousins.
24-16 against a backup quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, who filled in for the third stringer, who went out with an injury. And I looked at their possessions, okay? I'm like, why? What the heck are they doing? Punting 10 times?
Well, you
I'm
went
not
deep into
joking.
it.
I'm not joking. 10 3 and outs.
10
So they
3
didn't
and
just
outs.
punt 10 times. They had 10 3 and outs. That team's 5-1.
No, the Vikings punted. They had punt. Oh, this is
That's
they
that's for
punted
the
10.
year.
Wow, 10-3 and outs.
10 3 and outs, and they won by
Man,
8.
oh man, you know what? I'm gonna go stand
I
in
don't know
line
if
for a
that's.
beer.
I don't know if that says less about the Vikings offense
Yeah.
or less about how bad the Dolphins
Man, if
might
you're
be.
watching a team go
Yeah.
10-3 and outs, man, I am going for a beer and I'm going to stand there and scroll through social media while I'm in line.
Check my
I'm gonna
fantasy
check
team
my
or
fantasy
something.
team.
You're not watching
10-3
that.
They couldn't
and
even.
outs.
They couldn't even break it up and go for it on 4th down.
Well, now you know why. Now you know why.
Yeah, right.
But now you know why they had enough time in the game to punt it 10 times.
I'm
they
sick
kept
of
going
this.
3 and out.
I'm
my
sick.
God.
I'm sick of it. Let's just go for it. It's 4th
Right.
and 10. I don't care. We'll just
Right.
we'll just cross them up.
This is our 9th punt. I think we need to go for it.
Oh my gosh,
They
that's
10-3
great.
and
That's-
outs.
So their only touchdown came when they got down to Miami 1-yard line, pounded
They were
that
2
in.
of 12 on 3rd down.
Steve, that
How do
team-
they score 16 points?
How are they 5-1?
Yes. How are they?
I mean, I get it. Miami's got a pretty good defensive group, but 10-3 and outs. Oh my gosh!
I mean, I'm going to
As
put
a
it,
punt
Steve,
gunner, I would be like,
Steve.
dude.
to put it in perspective. Do you remember the awful 2009 game here between the Browns and the Bills, 6-3?
6-3 game.
There were 16 total punts in that game.
This one
Minnesota
had
had 10 by themselves.
Yeah, and
there
Miami
were
had
16.
6.
Yeah, there were 16 in that game.
Wow, and there's 16 in this game.
That's what I'm saying.
Dolphins- Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Is that unbelievable?
The Vikings had 11 first.
I feel a whole lot better about the Vikings game now. It's like,
the
5-1
Dolphins had
team.
11 first. The Dolphins had 23.
first downs, and Vikings had 11.
How did
So,
they? How did they win that game?
I don't know. What do you got?
They had a defensive touchdown. And then they had one offensive
Come on
touchdown.
now. All right. So what else?
Did they block a punt? Was that a
I think that was the defensive touchdown.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
And
There was no defensive touchdown.
what were they celebrating? Oh, it was an interception, but they didn't take it back.
Yeah, they
okay.
didn't take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
But
you see
Miami missed a field goal, and they did have 3 takeaways, a fumble recovery and 2 interceptions. Of course, what did they do with those? They got 3 points out of 3 takeaways. The other 2, surprise, surprise, they punted.
Man, oh, man.
And here's the other thing, too. We talk about the law of averages all the time in the NFL. You remember all those close games Minnesota lost last year, and they missed the playoffs because of it.
Because of it.
This year, they're winning all those games. So they beat the Lions by 4, the Saints by 3, the Bears by 7, and then the Dolphins by 8 yesterday. Those are the 4 of their 5 wins are by 1 score. So they're winning all those 1-score games that they were losing last year, and they're 5-1.
And the Bills at one point were, what you say, 0-8 in 1-score games?
0-7.
0-7.
Yeah, they thought that's
They've won their last
How do
2.
they have a better?
Well, they have the same record. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're talking about this because, the Vikings are coming here.
Yeah.
And
In the second half.
in the second half of the season.
November 13th, week 10.
And they, they're 4-1 right now.
5-1.
5-1 right now, just like the Bills are. And you're thinking, okay, that may be one of the games that at the beginning of the year we thought, that's a win for the Bills. And you think, maybe not. And then you look at it, it's like, yeah, you need to beat those jokers.
Well, if they punt 10 times, we are beating them.
Yeah, that's true.
The only
That's true.
With our offense,
That's true.
and-
Our offense
yeah.
is not punting it 10
right.
times.
No.
So looking at the teams that they've
Punted it
played,
10 times in 6 games.
looking at the teams that they've played, I don't think any of them are over 500 right now. Green Bay, Detroit, New Orleans, Chicago, Miami. Those are their 5 wins. The one loss to Philadelphia, 24-7. They weren't even in the
They
game.
weren't even in the game.
So when they got to play top tier, they have a problem.
Well, that's when Kirk Cousins becomes Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I think he threw for 170 yards in that game that they beat the Dolphins. Threw for like 170 yards.
So how healthy are we going to be next game?
Really healthy.
Really healthy, right?
Team's going to be healthy. I don't know about you and me.
Steve and I were knocking this around on the podcast, Thurman, because people are wondering, like, when do they activate Trey White? We know that they have to make a decision by November 1st. That's the last day that he can be practicing and still on reserve PUP. They have to make a decision, when they're going to activate him. Do you think he's on the active roster and dresses for the Packers game in Week 8, coming out of the bye?
Oh, man, that's a
That's
tough
just
one.
that's just a day or two before the game. Mike,
Yeah.
I thought no. I thought they might activate him, but they won't play him. And I think the first time we'll see him will be the next game against the Jets.
He thinks Jets. I think he's active and on the 53-man roster. I don't think he starts, but I think he plays against the Packers. I think they put him on like a pitch count kind of thing.
You think so?
What do you
I
think?
think they'll ease him back into it. Yeah, I think that's a good call by Brownie.
You think that?
I think they bring him
think
back
they wait?
a little slow because
What do you think, Thurman? That's why we're asking. What do you think? You think they wait?
I'm gonna say that they're gonna wait.
I mean, they don't have to rush
They
it
don't have to rush it, but
'cause the defense
I mean,
playing good.
They're playing well.
They're winning games.
Green Bay is coming here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any wide receivers.
Well, that's why I thought they
got
might
a
play him.
running game. And
Put him out there against some rookies.
You're right. Put him out there against the rookies, but it's just another week to get him healthier. And just like what Jordan Poyer didn't play the Pittsburgh game,
Yeah.
just got him rest.
They don't need to rush him. You're right about
Right.
that.
And I know he's anxious to get out there.
Oh,
too.
my
I
gosh.
mean,
He's gotta be climbing the
this
walls.
guy here. I mean,
gotta be climbing the walls.
I saw him the day of going to get his surgery. He had to fly somewhere, and I was on the same flight as he was, and you can just see like I can't believe this happened to me. This is because it's almost like he never been hurt before, which I think that might have
had
been a
not missed
part
a
of
game, I
it. He
don't
had
think.
not missed a game in his career.
Right.
And you're talking about college too, and so I know he's anxious to get back out there, but I mean,
So all right. So your money's on waiting another week.
waiting another week.
So what do you think? Week 9, the Jets
Week
game?
9, Jets game. Jets game. Yep. Obviously, yep. I go to Jets game.
All right.
So who does Green Bay play before? Or do they have a bye?
They play-
Because they could come
We
in
saw
here
it
3-5
yesterday.
unless they playing the Bears or somebody.
The Commanders. They
Oh,
play
good
Washington this
Lord.
week.
Okay, so they're
That's good, though.
4-3. They're,
Yeah, but we don't want
get
them
them
to
a little healthy, give them a little confidence
Yeah.
or whatever.
Make them feel better about
Make them feel
themselves.
better and come here and see what it's going to be like.
Guys
What is it, Sunday night game?
It is Sunday
night
yeah.
game. So
Little
yeah,
prime time. I
Little
thought that'd
prime
be-
time.
I was getting a little nostalgic there. I thought, you introduce the defense, Sunday night football. You save Trey for last. He comes out last, and like that whole. Maybe not.
It's all
Maybe I
marketing.
went too Hollywood on my prediction.
See, you don't want.
Yeah.
See, you don't want to see. You want the. This is great because the Packers are going to beat the stew out of the Washington Commanders, and that won't give
They're
them.
gonna think everything's okay.
Yeah, they have 2 straight losses right now, so you don't want them coming in with a 3 straight.
Yeah, because then they might actually
losing.
play
Then they
desperate.
might play hard. So no, they're not going to play
They
hard.
might play hard.
Who's the Commander's QB?
Taylor Heineke
Heineke.
is going to be playing
Oh,
quarterback.
he's not.
Got a little
where's-
moxie.
Where's the game? Green Bay or Minnesota?
It's,
Washington?
It is
At
at
Washington.
Washington.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Yeah, the old raucous crowd in Washington. All
they-
6
yeah,
of them.
all
there's
30,000
just
of
too
them?
many things going on with the Commanders.
They
right
got
now.
they got some
I
issues.
mean, some
man.
issues on and off the field. It's
That's
just
all right.
not good.
But
And you
anyway.
just think about it. Back in the day, this is one of the modeled franchises.
Yes.
When Joe Gibbs was there.
Yeah, they were always
Something-
They were
competitive.
always
Joe Gibbs
competitive, always,
and-
and now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just been totally flipped upside
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we can all have our laundry list of reasons why, because
Yeah.
there are several.
there are several,
But-
a long list.
We'll let that sit where it sits, because something tells me the league will be taking care of that. Actually, the owners are meeting today in New
Oh.
York, and there are rumblings that might be discussed among smaller breakout groups.
Right.
What to do with Snyder. So
Right.
That's a lot.
I really wonder where that goes, though, guys, because there've got to be some owner. Because first of all, you got to get 24 out of 32 owners to vote that way, if it even. And they're not voting on anything like that on Snyder at the meetings this weekend. But I imagine there'll be some discussions. Do you think there are some owners that would worry that it would set a bad precedent? Like, oh man, if they can bounce this guy, what
They can
skeletons
bounce
do I have in
anybody.
my closet? Like, could they bounce me too? I wonder if there's some of that at play there too. And
Well-
we saw the story last week that was talking about how he's got secrets on owners, and I've done I got private investigators following Goodell around, to try to have dirt on him, and I'm going to out everybody if you get rid of me, that kind of thing.
Right.
Do we buy that, or is that just bluster?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're the kind of guy that would say that, you're probably the kind of guy that would pull the trigger if you wanted to. I mean, you know what I mean? And launch a
Or is-
campaign of that nature.
If you're threatening
he-
to fight dirty, that means you're prepared to fight dirty.
Yeah, it means it's in your DNA. I
and,
would
if,
think.
and if he's doing
He
that,
might not,
it'll be 31 guys vote him out.
Well,
Maybe.
Well, I've never heard good things about him. So
Yeah, I mean,
So
his reputation is what it is. I mean,
it is.
I don't know
the
the man.
reputation is what
I don't
it
know
is.
the man.
I don't know the man. I've
I
never
don't know the
won.
the
man.
only thing I know is that he rules with an iron fist down there.
Yeah.
And anybody, and here's a funny story. Van Miller took full advantage of that. So Van and Murph are trying to get into the stadium close enough, because Van was getting older, and he can't walk far. And the media
Right.
parking that you get is like a mile from the stadium. So Van's like, we gotta get
it's a
closer.
bad scene.
So he's telling Murph, pull right up here to this guy at the gate. Pull right up to the front. And Murph's like, all right, it's not where we're supposed to park, but okay.
Right.
Pulls up. They roll down the window, and Van just turns on the charm, and he said, and if you have a problem with me parking here, you can tell Mr. Snyder that you didn't let me park here, and he can take care of it. And the guy's like, okay, go right there.
Van.
Worked like a charm.
It worked like a job.
Just throwing the name out there.
Parking right in front.
You just right
This way. What'd you say your name was? Mr. Miller, right here, right? Park right here. He's a classic.
That is the best.
Thurm, thanks for stopping in, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy y'all bye week.